Starfleet Academy, Episode 10. It's over. Let me say it for the algorithm. Starfleet Academy, Episode 10. It's over. Well, we made it to the final episode of Starfleet Academy. And as you see, I'm pausing there because it just kind of stuns me on each episode, that you just watch it and it's just the way it is. And after I got through watching it, I wanted to see what some of the other early bird people said on it. And the way it looked to me was that some of the well-established people, the one that's got the B-roll that's following through and, much better than myself, there's a couple of them that I think are getting paid by Paramount. 3 guys were reviewing this, and it is the most unenthusiastic liking of episode 10. They're all sitting there like, yeah, this shows this and this shows that. And it was a little better than this and that. And I'm sitting there like, really? I mean, it was three of them. One at the top said, he gave a detailed explanation. I sat there on that thing for listening to him for 4 or 5 minutes. And I thought, he's just running up time on this YouTube video. And then they went to the middle person. They kind of gave they went to the second person. He finally got a chance. And he didn't like it. He said, well, I'm not as enthusiastic as so-and-so that was on there. And then the young lady that was on there, she started explaining what she liked about it and everything. No joy. No wow. No nothing. And then I thought, okay, let's give it a chance here. Because, of course, I had a negative review. And so I waited and seen the next person that it's another well-established person. And they got a video out for episode 10. And they reviewed it. And it was this guy I've seen before. Everything he says about Starfleet is always positive. Even he was in that laid back like, well, here's a great episode. You don't talk about stuff that you really like that. You just want to go bang, bang, bang. I like it. No, they were like, and then I watched the regular people, and they were telling the truth, okay, this didn't make sense. And this starts off with reminiscing about how Caleb and his mom were departed and how Captain, I'm going to say Holly Hunter, I can't remember her name, Naria, how Holly Hunter sent his mother off somewhere because she committed a crime, and then he was forced to be an orphan, a misplaced child. And so, they explained that more. I mean, they had 9 episodes to explain something so simple as to how she was involved. And in this episode, he kind of acts like he didn't know anything about it. And so that didn't make sense, Anyway, let's get started. Let's get this over. It's over, y'all. It's just over, and we're gonna have to move on. Well, after that reminiscence, I'm gonna go by my trusty notes. I didn't put it on an iPad this time. They had Caleb, Genesis, and Jaden, and Sam, and Durham on the deck with the on the spaceship that looks like Jupiter 2 from Lost in Space because it was separated from the main vehicle. And so this is a new feature that they had way back on one of the other episodes, but this is really not a popular feature, but the way it was used previously, I remember little bits of it, and it wasn't as crazy as it was on here. So what happens was the spaceship saucer, the Jupiter 2, was attacked by Nasbaka, or just call him Paul Giamatti. And this is an actor that's wasted on this too. He could have probably done a real good job if he had a good writer and good director and editors. He would have probably been excellent, but they show him. He beams in after, this is a part 2 also, because the first episode left off when they separated the Jupiter 2 from the Star Trek vehicle. So he shoots lasers and beams at him, and finally the shield comes down and he beams on, and he just starts telling jokes. And he wants them to laugh on his jokes. Some of the other reviewers have mentioned that they were trying to create a con, meaning like, con from the classic Star Trek movie, that I really love that movie, boy. I mean, I never would have expected, what's that show he was on? The one with the little small person, where the boat that greets people. I would have never expected he could have been a good Khan, but he was a good character. But they're trying to make him like him. But Khan was serious in his jokes, if there were jokes. And they're just filled with too many jokes on this, bad jokes. And that's what Nasbaka was doing when he beamed on. And then when they had the blow up on the ship, the bridge, they brought the cadets to the bridge to really, they did this before Nasbaka beamed on. And so they were there, and they had the one lady who was the engineer on here. She's been in the previous Star Trek, and she was actually very good in this. Tignataro. And she was good. But she didn't have a script or anything written or edited to help her. I mean, it had actions in little pieces. And that's what was missing on both of these last 2 episodes. You watch Star Trek for the science, the fun, and the action. And the action is just mired down with emotions. Emotions that are unnecessary to be seen. Yes, Caleb loves his mama. But do we need to see all of that? We're here to see Star Trek, not to see, Family Matters. It's just mind blowing. And so they call the cadets to the bridge, and let's see what happened here. The revolution will be, oh Lord, they took a statement from a classic black singer that had the phrase, the revolution will not be televised. And he took that statement and put it in there and said the revolution will be televised. Disrespectful. Young elite people writing. I mean, you just don't put serious stuff into I mean, if you're not serious about this show, don't put serious stuff in there. I mean, it's just amazing. And then once he said that, the remainder of the ship occupied. I don't know what that means. Why would... Oh, and all during this, the electrical equipment went off. When they had it, it crashed. And on all of the Star Trek shows before, if they had problems, things didn't work. They just used lighting to show that they were in trouble, or part of the ship didn't work, or whatever device they had. They had fire all over the place inside these ships. Fire. And you know these ships would come with some type of chemical to put those fires out. They had it on the saucer, the Jupiter 2 that they were on. And when they got to beaming down to seeing where Nasbaka, what is his name? Paul Giamatti, went, he went to the ship that was still together, the one with the wings that I don't like, the one that looks like a little Batman wing vehicle or something. They took the wings and kept that, and they're all in there giving a trial for the situation. And there was fire in there. And it's just ongoing fire. And a ship like this modern would be able to take that fire out. But, you know, according to those happy reviewers that really liked it, this was good. Let's move on. While Nasbaka, Paul Giamatti, was given a testimony over a broadcast to different species, talking about why the captain that he kidnapped off of the Jupiter 2. So he kidnapped her and brought her in there and put her on trial. And at certain points, he tried to sound like a Southern lawyer in To Kill a Mockingbird. He had an accent for a Southern lawyer at one time. And I was like, they've got to stop pulling from this part of the century and start just writing something. It's like somebody just looked up something. Anyway, he's talking like he's a lawyer, telling all the bad things about it that he could. So while they're doing that, back in the Jupiter 2, they put Giselle on the bridge, and Giselle, golden eyebrow girl, they put her on the bridge, and then she said something that I could not understand, and I was trying to watch it without the subtitles, because, you know, Holly Hunter wasn't on that part of it that much, not yet. And so I had it off, and she kept saying something. I kept rewinding it, and I rewound it again, and I finally had to turn it on to see what she said. And then she said she has to go pee because she's on the bridge there. And I thought, I know young people don't mind talking about bodily functions all the time, but that was just inappropriate and disrespectful. And it was just, why would you put something like that in there? If she had to go somewhere, she could just get up and go. I'll be right back. That kind of thing. No. Oh, it was just horrible. And then next, back to the Enterprise shell. Caleb's working on fixing the ship, but has a childish, mad attitude. Now he has lost confidence again. He's a cadet. I mean, maybe you can look at it this way. He didn't want to be in the cadet school at first. Maybe that's just why his personality is that way. And there's no action during a large part of this. It's just, you know, people just being really emotional. And the doctor took off one of his badges and he put it into the ship to help the ship kind of disappear from Paul Giamatti's team. Okay, I can understand that. That's okay. Well, this caused them to think that the Jupiter 2 saucer was blown up, but it wasn't. It was an illusion which was caused by the doctor's device and him inside the saucer. So they go and hide out, and then they're trying to still work on the solutions in the saucer. And then Caleb and Miss T, the one with the blue light on her neck, she ends up going back to Tribble Land, trouble with tribbles, and where they were at the beginning of the start of this, and so she goes back and remembers something, and then she comes to the conclusion she loves Caleb and everything. I mean, they just had a romantic moment right in the middle of a disaster, supposedly. So after that, it's no pacing and no action during this. And then she finally gets herself together and gives details about where the captain was taken, because they didn't know where she was at first. Then she finds it by using her sensitive powers, and she's thrilled and happy that now her and Caleb went to her mind world, and they're now good friends again and love each other. Yawn. I mean, what happened next? Jupiter 2 gets shot at. Okay, yeah, I got that. All right, and then Caleb, oh, is this the same page? Oh. Anyway, this went on so much. It was just incredibly I was reading and hearing that one of the actors is upset about negative reviews. Stryker. And it's just like, Janeway, keep out of this. This is something that, first off, he directed one of these episodes. I think it was 9. I think that was the better of some of them. But the whole series just been almost flatlined with badness. But he was talking about they didn't like the negative reviews. I've never seen anything have so many negative reviews. And this is just up there with negative reviews. And these stars that are former Star Trek people need to just stay out of it, because this is it's tainted, and you don't want you to get your name all tainted up with something that you really didn't have anything to do with, and it's all Kurtzman's fault. I mean, he let privileged California, Beverly Hills young people write this show, direct this show, without any history or knowledge of the Star Trek franchise. So, they did what kids do. They wrote for themselves and wrote for their friends that's down the street, that's living in a Beverly Hills mansion. It just shows. Well, as far as that goes, they had a different one. The atmosphere makes no sense. The Doc, once he gets back together in the ship, after they hid from Paul Giamatti, he comes back together and is speaking in code, and they had to decipher what he was saying, and they finally come up with a solution as to what he was saying, because he was broken. And then Genesis, they're all making little speeches. Speech. I mean, it's just emotions and speeches. And then she says, we all got to be, what was that she said? We have to be who we are and then, and be who we think we want to be. It was like a message. And of course, when she said that, they put a shot on Jaden. Like who we are and all this, and Jaden's sitting there and like, yeah, she's being friendly and nice and sympathetic. Well, everybody is. It's not just her. She just it was her turn to do that. Okay, well then, after that, they end up getting back to get the captain out after the whole situation. Finds out that, after the whole thing, Mom and the captain kind of made up because it was explained that why the captain did what they did. And Caleb explained it to him when he had his little entrance onto that area. It was a convoluted type of show. Just the way I explained it, convoluted, that's the way the show was. And no amount of people giving halfway decent reviews on this. This was the 60th year of Star Trek. That means you should have been talking to the old heads like myself and bringing in the young people and trying to get them excited. Instead, you just brought them in with an airheaded volleyball game. It's like, it's unbelievable. 60 years of this. And this is how they top it all. Disrespectful. Well, once they did get all of this cleared up and they got Paul Giamatti arrested, and he should have went out in a flame. It's just almost like the police came and put handcuffs on him. And Sam goes and screams at the end of it, talking about how they had done whatever it was they were supposed to do. I mean, she literally screamed. She went out with one more crazy moment. And the ending showed pictures of everybody. They went off with a song about children. And it had the words of Beautiful Child and all of the sad, sappy songs. And there was this pictures of all the cast members in their childhood pictures. Crazy. And then at the end, the captain did also say to Caleb when he was going, which summed up the whole episode, "Get out of here." She said, "Get out of here" at the last episode because he was going somewhere for the ceremony for him. And I said, that summed up that whole episode. Get out of here. All right. If I offended anybody, I'm sorry. But it was bad. And I don't care how many former Star Trek people you can find to say that it's not, they're lying to you. This was fun, but I'm glad it's over. I'm moving on to something else. Everybody have a good day. And thank you for stopping in. And I know this was long, but it was the last episode, so we got to do that. Get the whole thing out of your system because they're not going to be back for another season probably till next year. They're probably editing the daylights out of it, the season 2 now, because they're going to have to. Hopefully they are, but I don't know. This is just willful ignorance. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.